Lady Heiress stood at the back of the crowded auction hall. Her blue skin shimmered under the dim lights. She pulled her hood lower over her face. No one could know that the daughter of a high Nexen official was here. The air smelled bad, like too many different aliens packed together. Like fear, Ara watched as strange creatures were brought to the stage one by one. Some had fur, some had scales. All were far from their homes. Next item. A human male from the recently conquered planet Earth. Ara's 6 fingers tightened on the railing. Humans were rare. Their planet had fought hard against the Nexen ships. Most humans died in battle rather than be captured. Ara had never seen one up close. 2 guards dragged a creature onto the stage. It had no scales, no extra limbs, no tentacles, just pale skin and dark hair. It stood on 2 legs like a Nexen, but its eyes were rounder, its face flatter. "This specimen is called June," said the auctioneer, a fat Vrex with yellow eyes. "Healthy male, age 28 Earth cycles. Previously a scientist. Can be trained for simple tasks." The human looked up. His dark eyes scanned the crowd. He did not look afraid like the other creatures. He looked angry. Ara felt her 3 hearts beat faster. There was something about this human. Something in his eyes. "Humans are dangerous and unpredictable," the auctioneer continued. "But this one has been partially tamed. Starting bid is 5,000 credits." A wealthy merchant raised his hand. 5,000. A collector from the outer rings called. 6,000. Ara had never bid at an auction before. She had come only to watch, to escape the lonely halls of her father's palace for a few hours. But something pushed her forward. 10,000 credits, she said. Her voice rang out clear. The room went quiet. All eyes turned to the hooded figure in the back. The auctioneer blinked his 3 eyes rapidly. 10,000 from the lady in the back. "Do I hear 11,000? The wealthy merchant frowned. 11,000. 15,000. Ara said quickly. The human, June, was looking at her now. Did he understand what was happening? Did he know he was being sold? 20,000, called the collector. Ara stepped forward. 50,000 credits. Gasps filled the room. No exotic pet was worth that much, especially not a dangerous human. The auctioneer's mouth hung open. 50,000 going once. Going twice. Sold. To the lady in blue. Ara moved to the payment counter, her hands shaking as she pressed her thumb to the scanner. Her personal account would be emptied, but she didn't care. Something about the human's eyes had called to her. The auction manager, a thin Nexen with gray skin, leaned close to Ara. Lady Ara, he whispered, recognizing her despite the hood. You know these humans are trouble. Your father would not approve. My father doesn't need to know, Ara said. Prepare the human for transport to my private ship. As you wish, but be careful. This one has tried to escape 3 times already. They say humans never truly accept captivity. Ara watched as guards put special cuffs on June's wrists. The human was taller than she had thought. His muscles tensed as the guards pushed him forward. I don't want him damaged, Ara said sharply when one guard shoved June too hard. The human's eyes met hers again. There was no gratitude there, only questions. And something else, a fierce intelligence that both excited and frightened her. Ara turned away. What had she done? Bringing a human to her father's palace was risky, maybe even crazy. But as she looked back at June one more time, she knew she couldn't leave him here. For the first time in years, Ara felt something besides loneliness. She felt alive. Ara's private ship sat in the far corner of the landing bay. Her pilot, Juan, waited at the entrance, his gray face showing shock when he saw what followed behind her. Lady Ara, Juan whispered, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. That is a human. Yes, Ara said simply. And we need to get him into the palace without anyone knowing. Juan looked nervous. Your father will have my head removed from my shoulders. Ara reached into her pocket and pulled out a small bag. It clinked with the sound of metal. Will this help your courage? Juan took the bag and peeked inside. His eyes widened at the gold coins. He tucked the bag into his uniform. The human will need to be hidden. Inside the ship, Jun stood silently. His hands were still bound by the special cuffs. His dark eyes watched Ara carefully. Can you understand me? Ara asked him. Jun nodded once. Yes. All captured humans were given language implants. His voice was deeper than Ara expected. It made her middle heart beat faster. I'm going to remove your cuffs, she said. Will you try to run? Where would I go? Jun asked. We're on a trading station in deep space. There's nowhere to run. Ara used her access key to unlock the cuffs. They fell to the floor with a clang. Jun rubbed his wrists. Why did you buy me? Ara didn't have a good answer, even for herself. I'll explain later. Now we need to get you into the palace. Juan started the engines. We must hurry. Palace security increases after dark. As the ship lifted off, Ara went to a storage compartment and pulled out a bundle of cloth. These are servant clothes. Put them on. If anyone asks, you are my new silent servant from the outer colonies. Jun took the clothes. They were designed for Nexans, with extra holes for their back spines. On him, they looked strange but passable. Pull the hood down low, Ara instructed. Your eyes and skin will give you away. The ship landed at the palace docks an hour later. Ara's stomach felt tight with worry. If they were caught, her father would be furious. Keeping unregistered aliens was against palace rules. Keeping the human was even worse. Walk behind me, she told Jun. Keep your head down. Don't speak no matter what. Jun nodded. For a creature known to be wild and dangerous, he was being surprisingly helpful. They walked down the ship's ramp. The main security gate loomed ahead. Chief Dai stood there, tall and serious as always. Lady Ara, Dai bowed slightly. We did not expect you back so soon. I finished my shopping early, Ara said, trying to sound bored. Dai's eyes moved to Jun, who kept his head down as instructed. And who is this? A new servant, Ara said quickly. From Colony 9. He doesn't speak much. Dai stepped closer to Jun. I need to scan him for security. Ara's heart pounded. The scan would show he was human. Dai, she said sharply. Are you questioning my choices? Shall I tell my father you delayed me? Dai stepped back. Even the security chief feared Ara's father. No, Lady Ara. Of course not. Good. Now we are tired from our journey. Dai reluctantly moved aside. Ara walked through the gate, sensing Jun following close behind. They moved quickly through the palace halls. Servants and guards bowed as Ara passed. No one looked directly at Jun. In the Nexan culture, it was rude to stare at another servant. Finally, they reached Ara's private wing. The door slid shut behind them with a soft hiss. We made it, Ara breathed, her 3 hearts still racing. Jun pulled back his hood. His dark eyes studied the luxurious room. Then he looked at Ara. What happens now? He asked quietly. Ara didn't know how to answer. She had smuggled a human into the palace. What happened next was unknown territory for both of them. Jun stood in the center of Ara's private rooms, looking around with wide eyes. The ceiling curved high above, painted with stars that actually twinkled. The walls changed colors slowly from soft blue to gentle purple. Strange plants grew from floating pots that hovered without support. This is where you live? Jun asked. Ara nodded. This is my wing of the palace. No one comes here without my permission. Jun walked to a window. Outside, 3 moons hung in the purple sky. Tall buildings with twisted shapes rose into the clouds. Flying vehicles zipped between them. So different from Earth, he said quietly. Ara watched him carefully. What was your home like? Jun turned away from the window. Before your people destroyed it, it was beautiful. We had blue skies, green forests, and oceans that stretched forever. I'm sorry, Ara said. I had nothing to do with the war. But your father did, didn't he? June's voice was sharp now. I've heard the other captives talk about the great General Kim, who led the attack on Earth. Era's blue skin darkened with emotion. Yes, my father is General Kim. June laughed without humor. So the daughter of the man who conquered Earth just bought a human. Is this some kind of trophy for you? A pet to show off? No. Era moved closer to him. I don't want a pet or a servant. I wanted someone to talk to. You have no friends? June asked. Era shook her head. My father is always away at war. Other Nexans fear him, so they avoid me too. I'm alone here. A soft chime rang through the room. A panel in the wall slid open, and a robot glided in carrying food. Your evening meal, Lady Era, the robot said. Thank you. Bring food for my guests too. Era pointed to a low table surrounded by cushions. Please sit and eat with me. June hesitated, then sat down across from her. The robot returned with more food and placed it before him. June stared at the strange items on his plate. Some things moved slightly. Others glowed. Is this safe for humans? He asked. Yes. Our scientists studied human biology after the war. This food was adjusted for you. June picked up a blue fruit. Why did you really buy me, Lady Era? Era looked down at her plate. When I saw you at the auction, you weren't afraid like the others. You looked defiant. Like me. She paused. My father wants me to be a perfect Nexan noble. Quiet, obedient, never questioning. But I have questions. So many questions. About what? About everything. About Earth. About humans. About why we need to conquer other worlds. Era looked up at him. They say humans are dangerous, but you don't seem dangerous to me. June's face softened slightly. We fight when we need to. We also create art, music, and science. I was a scientist before the invasion. What kind of scientist? I studied stars. The universe. June pointed to the ceiling. Those constellations are wrong, by the way. That's not how stars actually align. Era smiled for the first time. They're not meant to be accurate. They're from an old Nexan story about a warrior who became stars. Humans have stories like that too, Jun said. He picked up the blue fruit and finally took a bite. His eyebrows went up. This is actually good. See, not everything Nexan is terrible. As they ate, Era noticed June relaxing slightly. The anger in his eyes didn't disappear, but it dimmed. What happens tomorrow? He asked. Will you show me off to your friends? Era shook her head. No one can know you're here. It's too dangerous. For both of us. So I'm still a prisoner, just in a nicer cage. For now, yes, Era admitted. But maybe not forever. Outside, the 3 moons aligned in the sky, casting triple shadows across the room. 2 people from different worlds sat in those shadows, neither knowing what would come next. 2 weeks passed. June no longer flinched when the walls changed color or when the floating lights followed him around Era's rooms. He was learning the ways of the palace. Each morning, Era left to attend her royal duties. Each evening, she returned with new questions about Earth. June found himself looking forward to their talks. Tonight, Era burst into the room with excitement. I brought you something. She held out a small silver device. What is it? June asked, taking it carefully. A star map. Era pressed a button. Suddenly, tiny points of light filled the air around them. This is our galaxy. Show me where Earth is. June studied the stars floating around him. He moved his hands through them, making them spin. There, he said finally, pointing to a small star. That's our sun. Earth is the 3rd planet. Era stepped closer to see. She was so near that June could smell her strange, sweet scent, like flowers but different from any on Earth. It looks so small from here, she said. But it was everything to us, June replied. He closed his eyes for a moment, remembering green hills and blue oceans. Tell me more about your family, Era said as she sat on a cushion. June sat across from her. My parents were both teachers. My sister was studying to be a doctor. His voice grew quiet. I don't know if they survived the invasion. Era's blue skin darkened with sadness. I'm sorry, June. What about your mother? June asked, changing the subject. You never mention her. She died when I was young. She caught a disease while visiting a new colony. Era looked down. My father changed after that. He became colder, more focused on war. So we're both alone, June said. Not anymore, Era replied softly. The next day, June was teaching Era a human game called chess using pieces he had made from colored clay. The queen is the most powerful piece, he explained. She can move in any direction. Like me. Era joked. I can go anywhere in the palace. But not outside without guards, June noted. So maybe you're more like the king, powerful but trapped. Era moved a piece. And what are you in this game? June thought for a moment. A knight, perhaps, moving in unexpected ways. They were so focused on the game that they didn't hear the door open. A voice suddenly spoke. Cousin Era, what are you doing? Era jumped up. A tall, male Nexan stood in the doorway, his 4 eyes wide with shock. Ta, Era gasped. I didn't know you were visiting the palace. Ta stepped into the room, staring at June. Is that a human? Have you lost your mind, Era? These creatures are dangerous. June remained seated, watching Ta carefully. He's not dangerous, Era said quickly. His name is June. He's teaching me about human culture. Your father would be furious, Ta said. Keeping an unregistered alien is against palace rules. Keeping a human is worse. Please don't tell him, Era begged. June is my friend. Friend? Ta looked disgusted. It's a pet, Era. A dangerous one. I'm not a pet, June said, standing up. And I'm not in it. Ta stepped back, surprised that June could speak. It talks. Of course he talks. Era moved between them. He's intelligent. His people have art, science, and music, just like us. Ta shook his head. You've always been strange, cousin, but this is too much. Father was right to worry about you. Please, Ta. Era's voice was desperate now. I've never asked you for anything. I'm asking now. Keep our secret. Ta looked from Era to June and back again. You truly care about this creature. I do, Era said simply. Something passed between the cousins, some understanding that June couldn't read. 3 days, Ta said finally. I will say nothing for 3 days. Use that time wisely, cousin. He left the room without another word. June looked at Era. What does that mean? It means, Era said, her voice shaking slightly, that we're in danger. We need to leave, June said. He paced around Era's room, his face tight with worry. Your cousin will tell someone. Ta gave us 3 days, Era replied. She sat at her floating desk, fingers dancing over a glowing screen. I'm trying to find us a safe place. Do you really trust him? Era stopped typing. Ta and I grew up together. He doesn't agree with me, but he wouldn't lie. Then we have 3 days to make a plan. June came to stand beside her. On the screen, a map of the palace glowed with blue light. The problem is the security system, Era explained. Every exit is watched, and even if we get out, where would we go? You can't blend in anywhere on this planet. June was about to answer when a soft chime rang through the room. Era quickly closed the map and motioned for June to hide in the side chamber. The door slid open. A tall Nexan female in an official uniform entered. Lady Era, the female bowed. I bring news from your father. Era stood up. What news, Min? General Kim will return to the palace tomorrow for the Festival of Stars. He wishes to see you at the main banquet. Era's 3 hearts raced with fear. Tomorrow. He wasn't supposed to return for another month. The war goes well. The human resistance on Colony 6 has been crushed. June, listening from the other room, clenched his fists at these words. I see, Heiress said, keeping her voice calm. Tell my father I look forward to seeing him. After Min left, June came out of hiding. Colony 6. There are human survivors on other planets. Yes, Heiress admitted. After Earth was taken, some humans were sent to work colonies, and now they're being crushed. June's voice shook with anger. I'm sorry, Heiress said. I should have told you sooner. My father has been leading attacks against human resistance fighters. June turned away from her. All this time, while we played games and shared stories, your father was killing my people. I'm not my father, Heiress cried. I don't want any of this. June didn't answer. He walked to the window and stared out at the alien city, his back stiff with anger. Heiress approached him slowly. June, I need to attend this banquet tomorrow. If I don't go, my father will become suspicious. Go then, June said without turning. Play your part. Ta will be there. I can try to convince him to help us. June finally turned to face her. And if he won't, then we run, Heiress said simply. I have access to a small ship. We could try to reach the outer systems. Some planets there aren't under Nexan control. You would leave everything behind. For me. June looked surprised. Not just for you. Heiress' voice grew stronger. For myself too. I've lived in this golden cage all my life, following rules I don't believe in. Maybe it's time I made my own choices. That night, as Heiress slept, June found her personal data device. He had watched her use it many times and had learned some of the Nexan language. Now he searched for information about the human colonies. What he found made his blood run cold. Not just work colonies, but testing sites, prisons, places where humans were studied like lab animals, and on a secret channel, encrypted messages about something called the Purge, a plan to gather all remaining humans in one place for final processing. When Heiress woke, she found June sitting in the dark, the data device glowing in his hands. When were you going to tell me about the Purge? He asked. Heiress sat up, confused. What are you talking about? June showed her the messages. Your people are planning to kill all remaining humans. Did you know? No, Heiress whispered, her blue skin turning pale with shock. I swear, June, I didn't know. June looked into her eyes for a long moment. I believe you, he said finally. But this changes everything. We don't have 3 days anymore. No, Heiress agreed, her voice growing determined. We need to act now. Morning light filtered through the crystal windows of Heiress' rooms. Neither she nor June had slept much after discovering the plans for the Purge. We need help, Heiress said, pacing the floor. I can't get us out of the palace alone. Who would help hide a human? June asked. Your people hate us. Heiress stopped pacing. Not all Nexans agree with the war. There are some who believe we should live in peace with other species. Rebels? June's eyes widened. We call them the Circle of Harmony. They work in secret. June studied her face. How do you know about them? Heiress turned away. She walked to a wall panel and pressed her hand against it. The panel slid open, revealing a hidden compartment. From inside, she took a small silver disc. Because I am one of them, she said quietly. June stared at her in shock. You? The daughter of General Kim. Yes. Heiress held out the disc. This is a communicator. We use it to share information about military movements, prison transports, and human camps. June took the disc, his fingers brushing against hers. All this time, you've been helping humans. I've tried. Heiress' voice cracked slightly. After my mother died, I saw how my father changed, how he became cold and cruel. I promised myself I would be different. Why didn't you tell me? I wasn't sure I could trust you at first. And later, she looked down. I was afraid you would hate me for not doing more. June stepped closer to her. I could never hate you, Era. Something passed between them. A look, a feeling, that neither could put into words. Era broke the silence first. There's something else you should know. She took a deep breath. When I saw you at the auction, it wasn't by chance. I was looking for you. What do you mean? Your name was on a list. Humans who led resistance groups on Earth. The Circle has been trying to find and free these leaders. She touched the disc in his hand. You weren't just a scientist, were you? June was quiet for a long moment. No, he admitted finally. I worked at a space observatory, but that was my cover. I led a network that sabotaged Nexan communications during the invasion. You're Jun Kim, the one they call the Ghost. June nodded. How much does your father know? He knows a human leader escaped capture on Earth. He doesn't know who you are, or that you're here. Era touched his arm. But if he finds out, he'll kill me, June finished. He'll kill us both, Era corrected. Helping humans is treason. The gravity of their situation hung in the air between them. So what do we do now? June asked. Era activated the silver disc. A small hologram appeared. A map of the palace with a blinking red dot. Tonight is the Festival of Stars. Security will be focused on the main halls where the banquet is held. She pointed to the red dot. This is a service tunnel that leads to the lower docks. We can take a supply ship. To where? Colony 3. The Circle has a safe house there. From there, we can try to warn other humans about the purge. June looked at her with new respect. You've been planning this all along. I've been hoping I wouldn't need to use it, Era corrected. But now we have no choice. The disc suddenly flashed with a new message. Era read it, her face growing pale. What is it? June asked. My father's ship just landed. He's here early. Era turned off the disc and slipped it into her pocket. I need to go greet him. Act normal. Be careful, June said, taking her hand. Era looked down at their joined hands. 5 blue fingers intertwined with 5 pink ones. So different, yet somehow fitting perfectly together. I will, she promised. Be ready to leave tonight, no matter what happens. As she left the room, neither of them said what they were both thinking, that this might be the last time they saw each other. Morning light filtered through the crystal windows of Era's rooms. Neither she nor Jun had slept much after discovering the plans for the purge. We need help, Era said, pacing the floor. I can't get us out of the palace alone. Who would help hide a human? June asked. Your people hate us. Era stopped pacing. Not all Nexans agree with the war. There are some who believe we should live in peace with other species. Rebels? June's eyes widened. We call them the Circle of Harmony. They work in secret. June studied her face. How do you know about them? Era turned away. She walked to a wall panel and pressed her hand against it. The panel slid open, revealing a hidden compartment. From inside, she took a small silver disc. Because I am one of them, she said quietly. June stared at her in shock. You? The daughter of General Kim? Yes. Era held out the disc. This is a communicator. We use it to share information about military movements, prison transports, and human camps. June took the disc, his fingers brushing against hers. All this time, you've been helping humans. I've tried. Era's voice cracked slightly. After my mother died, I saw how my father changed, how he became cold and cruel. I promised myself I would be different. Why didn't you tell me? I wasn't sure I could trust you at first, and later, she looked down. I was afraid you would hate me for not doing more. June stepped closer to her. I could never hate you, Era. Something passed between them, a look, a feeling, that neither could put into words. Era broke the silence first. There's something else you should know. She took a deep breath. When I saw you at the auction, it wasn't by chance. I was looking for you. What do you mean? Your name was on a list. Humans who led resistance groups on Earth. The Circle has been trying to find and free these leaders. She touched the disc in his hand. You weren't just a scientist, were you? June was quiet for a long moment. No, he admitted finally. I worked at a space observatory, but that was my cover. I led a network that sabotaged Nexan communications during the invasion. You're Jun Kim, the one they call the Ghost. June nodded. How much does your father know? He knows a human leader escaped capture on Earth. He doesn't know who you are, or that you're here. Era touched his arm. But if he finds out, he'll kill me, June finished. He'll kill us both, Era corrected. Helping humans is treason. The gravity of their situation hung in the air between them. So what do we do now? June asked. Era activated the silver disc. A small hologram appeared, a map of the palace with a blinking red dot. Tonight is the Festival of Stars. Security will be focused on the main halls where the banquet is held. She pointed to the red dot. This is a service tunnel that leads to the lower docks. We can take a supply ship. To where? Colony 3. The Circle has a safe house there. From there, we can try to warn other humans about the purge. June looked at her with new respect. You've been planning this all along. I've been hoping I wouldn't need to use it. Era corrected. But now we have no choice. The disc suddenly flashed with a new message. Era read it, her face growing pale. What is it? June asked. My father's ship just landed. He's here early. Era turned off the disc and slipped it into her pocket. I need to go greet him. Act normal. Be careful, June said, taking her hand. Era looked down at their joined hands. 5 blue fingers intertwined with 5 pink ones. So different, yet somehow fitting perfectly together. I will, she promised. Be ready to leave tonight, no matter what happens. As she left the room, neither of them said what they were both thinking, that this might be the last time they saw each other. June felt the warning signal vibrate on the small device Era had given him. 1 long pulse followed by 3 short ones. Danger. Guards coming. He moved quickly. Era had shown him a hidden panel in the wall that led to a small service passage. He pressed his hand against it as she had taught him, and the panel slid open. Just as he slipped inside, the main door to Era's rooms burst open. Guards with weapons rushed in. Search everywhere, a harsh voice commanded. The human must be here somewhere. June held his breath as he moved through the dark passage. He needed to find Era. But how? The palace was huge, and he was just one human against many guards. Then he remembered Juan, Era's pilot. The Nexan had helped them once before. Maybe he would help again. The service passage led to the lower levels of the palace. June stayed in the shadows, watching for guards. He had learned the patterns of palace life from his weeks with Era. He knew that service staff used these back corridors, and that guards rarely checked them. After an hour of careful movement, he reached the landing bay. Juan's ship sat in its usual spot. June watched from behind a large crate as Juan checked the engines. When no one else was looking, June darted forward. Juan, he whispered. The pilot jumped in surprise. Human, what are you doing here? Guards are searching everywhere for you. I need your help. They've taken Era. Juan's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. The general has her in the high-security cells. No one can reach her there. I have to try, June insisted. She risked everything for me. Juan looked around nervously. It's impossible. Those cells are guarded by the best soldiers. The doors have DNA locks that only open for top officials. There must be a way, June said. Then an idea came to him. The festival tonight. Will the general attend? Yes. All high officials must be there. And the guards. Most will be watching the main halls. Only a few will stay at the cells. June nodded. I need you to take me to the prison section. I'll figure out the rest. Juan shook his head. They'll kill us both. They're planning to kill all humans anyway, June said. The purge. That's why Era was arrested. She was trying to stop it. Juan's eyes widened. The purge is real. We thought it was just a rumor. It's real. And it starts soon. Jun held Juan's gaze. Help me save Era. She's the only one who can stop her father. After a long moment, Juan nodded. For Lady Era, I will try. That night, while the Festival of Stars filled the main palace with light and music, Juan flew a small maintenance ship to the prison tower. He landed on a service platform. The cells are 3 levels down, he told Jun. This access card will get you through the first door. After that, you're on your own. Thank you, Jun said. If I don't come back, try to warn the Circle of Harmony about the purge. Jun moved quickly through the service door. Inside, the prison was cold and quiet. Most guards were at the festival, but a few remained at their posts. He pressed himself against a wall as 2 guards walked past, talking about the festival food they were missing. When they were gone, Jun continued down the corridor. The high-security cells were behind a heavy door with a DNA scanner. Jun couldn't open it. His human DNA wouldn't work. Then he noticed something. On the guard's desk sat a cup with a straw. A guard had been drinking from it recently. Nexan DNA would still be on the straw. Jun grabbed the straw and pressed it against the scanner. The door hissed open. Inside, he found row after row of cells with glowing force fields instead of bars. Most were empty. But in the last cell, a small blue figure sat with her head down. Era, Jun whispered. She looked up, her eyes wide with disbelief. Jun, how did you get here? I had help, he said as he examined the cell controls. Juan brought me. Now we need to get you out. You can't, Era said. These cells need a high-level access code. Jun smiled. I was Earth's best communications hacker, remember? He pulled a small tool from his pocket, something he'd made in secret during his weeks in Era's rooms. This might take a minute. As he worked on the control panel, Era came to the edge of the force field. Jun, why did you come back? You could have escaped. Jun looked up at her. I couldn't leave you behind. The force field flickered and died. Era stepped out. Free. Now what? She asked. Now, Jun said, taking her hand, we save your people from making a terrible mistake, and we save mine from extinction. Alarms blared throughout the palace. Red lights flashed in every corridor. They know you're gone, Jun said as he and Era ran through the service tunnels. We need to hurry. Juan waited by his ship, looking nervous. I found something, he said when they reached him. He handed Era her silver communication disc. Your father was bringing this to the festival to show the other leaders. I took it from his office. With this, we can warn everyone about the purge, Era said. She quickly pressed buttons on the disc. What are you doing? Jun asked. Sending an emergency signal to all Circle members. Era looked up. And accessing the palace broadcast system. You can do that. I'm still the daughter of General Kim. I have high-level access codes. Her fingers moved faster. There. Now we need to get to the main hall. The main hall. Juan's eyes widened. But that's where everyone is. All the officials, the guards, and all the people who need to hear the truth. Era finished. They took Juan's ship to the central dome of the palace. The Festival of Stars was at its peak. Through the windows, they could see hundreds of Nexans in their finest clothes, watching a light show that made it look like stars were falling from the ceiling. Land on the east platform, Era instructed. There's a control room there for the broadcast system. As they landed, guards spotted them. Stop. By order of General Kim. Run. Jun grabbed Era's hand, and they raced toward the control room. Laser fire hit the wall behind them. They reached the door, but it was locked. I need time to enter the code, Era said. I'll give you time. Jun picked up a fallen guard's weapon and fired back at their pursuers. The door slid open, and they rushed inside. Era went straight to the main console. What's the plan? Jun asked, helping her barricade the door. I'm going to broadcast the truth to everyone at the festival, and to every Nexen city. Era connected her disc to the console. The Circle has been collecting evidence of what really happened on Earth, and what's planned for the Purge. It's all here. June looked at the screens showing the festival hall. There's your father. General Kim stood on a platform in the center of the hall, addressing the crowd. Armed guards surrounded him. Ready? Era asked, her finger over a button. June took her hand. Together, they pressed the button. The light show in the festival hall stopped. Instead, images appeared on all screens and walls. Humans helping injured Nexen soldiers during the war. Nexen scientists performing cruel tests on human prisoners. Documents showing plans for the Purge, the systematic killing of all remaining humans. And then, Era's face appeared on every screen in the palace. People of Nexen, she said, her voice strong and clear. I am Era Kim, daughter of General Kim. What you are seeing is the truth, my father, and the military have hidden from you. In the hall, General Kim shouted orders. Guards rushed to find the source of the broadcast. Humans are not our enemies, Era continued. They fought only to protect their world, as we would fight to protect ours. And now our leaders plan to destroy them all. Jum stepped into view beside her. I am Jum Kim of Earth. I ask you to look at your own history. Nexens once believed in peace between worlds. You can believe in it again. The barricaded door began to shake as guards tried to break through. We don't have much time, Era said to the cameras. But members of the Circle of Harmony are among you. They will continue to share the truth. Look for them. Listen to them. And remember us, Joan added. The door burst open. Chief Dai entered with armed guards. Transmission end, Era said as they were surrounded. Dad looked at the screens, still showing the evidence of the Purge. What have you done? Changed everything, Era answered. In the festival hall, confusion spread through the crowd. Officials argued with each other. Some guards lowered their weapons, unsure what to believe. General Kim stood alone on his platform, watching his perfect world crumble. 1 week later, on a small ship heading to the outer systems, Jun and Era watched the news reports. The Circle of Harmony had grown from a small group to a major movement. General Kim had been removed from power. The Purge had been cancelled. Do you think we'll ever go back? Jun asked. Era took his hand, her blue fingers intertwining with his pink ones. Someday, when both our worlds are ready. Their ship jumped to light speed, carrying them toward a new life, and the beginning of a revolution that would change the galaxy forever.